What's up, Peter? Any projections for Houston? I'll talk about that briefly today too. Everything's going good. Everything's going pretty good. This GameStop all the way. How many of you guys got into GameStop? Everything's going good though. How's it going for you? CCIV, brother. Um, I was just talking to people about CCIV in the group chat. Um, it wasn't really a productive conversation. I didn't end up getting in CCIV. AMC, I didn't get an AMC either. It's a lot going on today. Today was a pretty crazy day in the market. I got into Nokia for a second. Ended up selling out with like a 60% gain. I don't have I don't have the guts to buy into GameStop at the moment. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. Um, let's see. Okay, so let me kind of set the stage here. For those of you who don't know, pretty much it's been some crazy times in the market. Wall Street bets, APXC, please. Wall Street bets um, had pretty much pushed a bunch of retail investors into GameStop, um, and they realized that that was a stock that was been pretty much shorted, and that kind of triggered a short squeeze, a pretty epic short squeeze. The stock went from around $2.50 to highs of $3, $380. I believe now it's at around $340. So a lot of people were watching this and kind of kicking themselves for not getting in. And a lot of people, and there are those very few people who said, like, I have my principles and I'm going to stick to them. I usually always have this book by Ray Dalio called Principles, and with my investing principles, I try not to do too much, try not to engage in too much risky behavior. And it's something that's kind of disappointing to me in the market right now. A lot of people are buying into companies that they know nothing about. A lot of people are FOMOing into stocks, and someone's going to get left holding the bag. People are going to make a lot of money, and it's good and it's great until the music stops. So for me personally, I did mention that I bought into Nokia today. I actually knew a little bit about the company already. I was kind of thinking about 5G plays. So I'm like, you know what? Worst case, I bought in. If anything goes wrong in Nokia, then what I'll do is just hold the company. But I bought in. It ended up being a quick trade. I got out with 60%, and that was it for me. I'm not going to get into that stock again. Now I see people buying stuff like GameStop, uh, when it's at like when it's over $300 right now. Best Buy, for example, is currently trading at $114. Best Buy sells everything that GameStop sells and more. So, in my eyes, Best Buy should be valued a lot more than GameStop. So, um, if you're buying into GameStop right now, I would just say be careful. You don't want to be one of those people that gets stuck and ends up holding the bag, being stuck with the bag. And really, when you see like these big movements upwards in price, you can say like it's all the retail investors buying in. And to a certain extent, it may be, some retail investors, they still have a lot of money, but there's a lot of people who are really connected, have a lot of money, hedge funds, um, i.e., so when they buy into the stock, they push the price up, they dictate the price. So when they leave, guess who's gonna get burnt on the back of that trade? The retail investors. And for a lot of people, it's going to be a lesson learned. And for me personally, I really don't like the state of the market right now. It's everybody trying to go find the next big thing. Everyone's trying to say, okay, this is happening. I need to dump all my money here. Or in fact, I'll even like look through the comment section sometimes and people will say, CCIV, you've got to make a video on CCIV. CCIV is going to be the next Tesla. And I'm like, dude, I don't, that's why, like, in that last video that I did, not on TBLT, the one before that, I said I invested in this company because, I invest in what's interesting to me, and it doesn't matter if there's hype there or not. And I prefer that there's no hype there. You want to get to, you want to get there before everybody starts to know about it. That's how you make a lot of money in the stock market, to be honest. So if someone says, "Bro, you've got to look into this," there's literally stocks being like, it's to the point where there's stocks being shoved down my throat, pretty much every day. Like, you got to do a video on this, you got to do a video on that. You know, the stocks that I talk about on the channel are stuff that I would actually invest in, or if I wouldn't invest in, I would say like, "Hey, it's pretty interesting. I have an idea about this, let me put that out there." It's not going to be a stock that's just like, "Oh, everybody's buying this, so I got to buy it so I don't miss the hype train." You guys got to understand that we're in a this is a very bad time to be a short seller right now. Everybody's a genius in this market is what Mark Cuban says, but a lot of people are going to, get hurt really bad because they bought companies that they don't understand. Um, they can't give you a bullish thesis, they can't give you a bearish thesis. They just say, "Hey, I'm in this company, everyone's buying it. This is the next big thing." That's not investing, that's gambling. You guys know me, I'm very keen on doing a lot of research. So, I'm very keen on doing a lot of research. So if there's anything that I put my money into, I know what I'm buying. There's people who are going to lose money because they don't know what they're buying. People were telling me someone just mentioned IDEX. People said, "Why did you invest in?" People were telling me IDEX is a scam. Why'd you invest in IDEX back then? You're going to lose all your money. Dude, you need to do a video on IDEX. I did a video on IDEX right after the person said that. And if you would have had IDEX at that time, that I first started talking about it when it was just under $1, and now it's like over $4, that's 4xing your money. So that's another thing that comes with doing your research. Like, people can say this company's doing this and this company's doing that, but at the end of the day, if you carried those opinions that were transferred over to you by somebody else, on the internet, or somebody who you don't know, and you didn't do your research and you're not comfortable in that stock, then you just lost a 4x opportunity that came from doing real research and forming a real bullish thesis. Instead of just saying, "Oh, this person says it's a scam, then it's a scam," or "This person says that this person's getting paid." Like, no, I'm going to do my own research. If you have your opinion, I'll listen to your opinion. If you have your opinion, I'll listen to your opinion, and I'll take it into account, and I'll say, he brought up some good points that kind of conflicts with what I used to think, with what I thought about it. And maybe he's right. Maybe I'm in the wrong stock. Maybe I need to, get out and reposition myself. But that's the thing that really upsets me in the market, is that a lot of people are just kind of, people are just FOMOing into stocks. Stocks are shooting higher and higher. Are we in bubble territory? Are we going to experience a crash? I don't know, but I might not even be, buying stocks for a minute right now. I've kind of got a little carried away. I've exhausted a lot of my cash position. I'm pretty heavy in stocks right now, and I need to keep cash. So for the next few weeks or something, I might just be building a cash position, because everybody's a winner until the music stops, and that's when stuff just goes downhill. So, and I know a lot of you who follow my channel, you're younger, I'm young too. I'm in the market too, but it's important to be practical and make sure that, you're taking the right approach. The people who come out very successful in the market, none of them just YOLO'd into a stock or YOLO'd on some call options or anything like that. So I just got to be careful. And I mean, investors who were giving him backlash on the short squeeze with GameStop, he was actually shorting he was shorting GameStop. So he lost a lot of money there. He said people were texting him like saying, "Are you okay?" Like this, that, and the third. So that was pretty interesting. As much as, like, I'm not a fan of short sellers, or Andrew Left in particular, especially with, him uh kind of manipulating the market for his own gain. It's not in me to like kick somebody when we're down, but as far as Andrew Left goes, like that was just his update on it. But the thing is with these short sellers, they all try to short the same stock, and that's what makes it so easy for them to be like a target, when a specific group of investors um tries to cause a short squeeze. So that's another thing why I say like the hype is like investors, whether they be short sellers, whether they be just normal investors, are pretty much sheep. If you were to do your own research and not influence the markets on a short that you're trying to make, then there wouldn't be that much exposure to it, if that makes sense. So short sellers need to, really cover their own positions and not be sheep. The same way I just said that investors need to not be sheep. So if someone doesn't like an investment, just because they don't like an investment doesn't mean that you don't have to like an investment. If everyone's bullish on something, you don't have to be bullish. In fact, you should challenge yourself to be skeptical and try to see the other side of the argument. Like Warren Buffett says, famous quote, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. That gets you a long way in the market, and you know that you're protecting yourself against both sides of the argument. I wish I could have ran that clip for you guys. For some reason, it wasn't working. But somebody said, "What's the song?" The song is "Sunshine" by Fat Joe. It wasn't coming through on my it wasn't coming through on my laptop, so I just pull it up here on my Spotify, and you guys should be able to hear this since it's coming off my phone. You guys heard that, right? I'm gonna play it again. See me on the floor with Obi courtside. Everybody knows me as courtside Obi. See me on the floor with Obi courtside. So, I'll just leave that there for a second. No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke, guys. He didn't mention me in the song, but he that is my name. No, it was a joke. It was a joke. But Neo Electric Vehicles right there pointed that out last week, and I thought it would be funny for this video. But it was hilarious. That's low key. I listened to that song a lot. It's a good song. It's called Sunshine by Fat Joe. This guy said, "What are you doing on the floor?" On the floor, like courtside. When you get courtside tickets, you sit on the floor. Said, "Won't be expecting a call." Now I'm like, maybe Fat Joe might have bought some Neo stock, and he's like, now I got to shout out Obi. um, but what else did I want to talk about? I had something else on the agenda. Someone asked about using the used vehicle stock. So I mean, honestly, I said this in the video. The financials are pretty terrible right now. For me, I am an investor who buys companies when they're not profitable. I buy companies when there's blood in the street, and that is something that allows you to get big gains, if the company actually succeeds and doesn't fail. Um, I bought Stratasys when they weren't profitable. They still aren't profitable, but investors finally picking on the printing. Stratasys hit all-time highs again. But I do believe the company will be profitable at some point. Let me see if I could pull this up though, because I'm one of the few people on YouTube that I feel like puts my money where my mouth is, my money where my mouth is. If I talk about a stock and I say that I invested in it, I invested in it. So let me see if I can pull this up. Stratasys is almost at the 200% club. We're at 174.69%. And I'm not showing you guys this to brag or boast or anything like that. I'm saying this because you see everybody putting money into these stocks that they know nothing about, that everybody's talking about about GameStop, about AMC, about stuff like that. And you don't need to, you can be practical and you can kind of and you can control your risk and still get good returns. There's no reason to go, take all your, if you want to gamble, take your money to the casino. If you want to gamble, go to Vegas. The stock market, a lot of people, this is real money. This is real money that they're saving, whether it's for retirement, whether it's for a long-term goal or whatever. Why would you want to risk it all on a YOLO? And that's really where we are in the stock market today. And it's kind of upsetting to me. You a 30% return for a year. If you get a 30% return in a year, people are like 30%. There's other people getting like 100%, 200%, 50, 60, 80, 90. And that's just kind of how it feels. But a 30% return is really good. Me personally, what is my goal in the stock market? I want to compound my money at 30% for 10 years, and I'll be well over $1 million. That's all I need. All I want is 30% for 10 years. If there's a year like 2020 that's gonna put me like 4 years ahead, if 2021 continues to go the way it's going, it's gonna put me like 4 years ahead. um that's good because that's going to prep me for those years when the market isn't good, when the market is down. You get to really see if you're a good investor in a bear market, is what I'm saying. So you really get to see if you're a good investor in a bear market. A lot of people think, everyone thinks they're Warren Buffett, everybody thinks they know everything about the stock market. I need to be tested myself. Like, I want to see how I do in a bear market. um we had a crash back in March, but we haven't had a I have never been through a bear market yet. So, I'm still new to this too, and I'm trying to be practical so that I don't have to learn my lesson the hard way. Okay, what did emo say? Oh, you're kicked. Who else? Anyways, we're gonna ignore that. Some people come on here to, just waste time, and that doesn't bother me. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, someone asked about Usin. About Usin, you said what are my expectations on it? Um, my expectations for it, I set out with that to be a long-term investment. For that, I pretty much, the used car market in China is not supposed to double until 2025. So, it's not something that I'm like, that's another reason I did this video, because people will, and I pick a stock, right, like that, and I have no expectations for it this year. Like, if that stock doesn't double this year, am I going to be upset? No way. If that stock doesn't go up, like 40% this year, am I going to be upset? No way. This is something that I picked as a long-term investment. I know the valuation right now, the market cap is somewhere north of, 300 million. China wants the used car market to be a 306 billion used car market by 2025. They're the largest used car company. Do I think that they can get 10% of that by 2025? Yes, it's undervalued. That's how I look at it. It's a long game. And then someone else asked me about that stock. Um, so if China's making it hard to get a license plate for electric vehicles, then I mean, if China's making it hard to get a license plate for gas cars, then why would you invest in a company like Yusin? Well, I actually have done a lot of research on this, and China is actually incentivizing used cars right now. So, with that being said, they're having people pay 0.05% tax on used cars as opposed to 17% tax on new cars. So they're incentivizing people financially. They're making it easier for the dealers to trade them because they're classifying used cars without a license plate um, as commodities as opposed to assets, which makes it a lot easier to move them from dealership to dealership. So at the same time, China's incentivizing this. They're not gonna say, okay, well, you can't get a license plate for this because it's a gas car. No, China wants to stop the sale of gas cars by 2020 by 2035. Yes, but there has to be an ecosystem in which those gas cars, the used ones, they circulate out of it in a way that's healthy for China. So they're trying to build up that market, and eventually the used car market will be all EVs. But, used cars are going to be a big part of it. They're not saying we're incentivizing you to buy used cars, but you can't get a license plate for it. I'm sure that China will have support for those who are trying to get a license plate for used cars, if that makes sense. And whoever Emo is, he's probably a guy that got messed up in the short squeeze. Um, let's see. Any views on mineral mining, I mean, on mining stocks? Actually, yes. That's an area that I should probably invest in because with the batteries, like they're gonna need to have that in place so that they can keep on creating electric batteries. You know that nickel and cobalt are actually pretty scarce. Opinion on the Model S Plaid. Uh, I heard that the Model S Plaid gets a lot of range. Um, I haven't really looked into it too much, but isn't the Model S Plaid like super expensive? It's not, I don't see the Model S. I kind of If I look at the ET7, and this is an honest opinion from an American, um, and I like Tesla and I'm bullish on Elon Musk, and at one day and someday you might see me investing in Tesla, especially if there's a market crash. But if I had the choice right now between like a Neo ET7 or a Model S Plaid, I'm probably gonna go with the ET7. I like the ET7 and how it looks, and I'm a big fan of Neo. Um, yeah. Mm, I think you found a real winner with UXIN. I took a position 108 after your video. Thank you. So I'm actually live streaming through this software. So I'm live streaming through this software, so I actually can't kick him right now. I should have live streamed on YouTube, then I could have kicked him. But just ignore him. I'm not the type of person to let stuff like that get to me. He would rather waste his time on my channel than going and making something out of his life. Thoughts on BOXL? I haven't checked it out, to be honest. Neo $80 to $90 end of this year. Uh, that is possible. The thing is though, you don't know what the market is going what's the market conditions are going to be like. So, Neo has ran up a lot so far. I could see Neo at, triple digits if we keep like, a strong market. But if there's a correction or a pullback or whatever, who knows? Always got to, damn. What's up with Neo Red Day? To be honest, I haven't even been watching Neo as heavy as I usually do. You know, One thing I do notice is that a lot of people that watch my channel kind of focus super heavily on Neo, and so do I. It's my biggest position. But if you're only focused on Neo, we talk about this in the Discord too. You leave a lot of extra opportunities and money on the table. All stocks have red days, yes. It doesn't concern me at all. I'm really unfazed by it. Even my friends who invested in Neo because they watch my channel or like they hear me talk about it so much, they're like um they're like, "What's going on with Neo?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's at 59. It was at 60 like the day before." Like, and I hear about it so much, so it's just like it doesn't bother me, and I don't care what Neo's price is today. I'm in Neo most likely until 2030. Check out BTRYF. It's a mineral mining stock waiting to blow up when mineral mining begins in March. Penny stock ready to be a 100 bagger. Think I'm good on penny stocks right now, to be honest. I've got enough. I've got TBLT and I've got UXIN. But I'll check into it because I don't have any mineral stocks, but I'll look at it and see what it's about. Workhouse short squeeze today was big. What are your thoughts on the company? So back in the day when I was first talking um about Neo on YouTube, a lot of people were also talking about Workhorse. Um I don't remember everything that I checked out on the company, but I remember that it was very dependent on a UPS contract. So, you know, I would have to look into it. As far as EV plays go, am I trying to really have more of my portfolio be EV considering, my portfolio is probably like 75% EV? I don't know. You got to diversify across industries. I'm not a big fan of diversification, but I have multiple names. Most of my money is in Neo. It's very heavy in Neo, and I've been buying other stocks to compensate without selling my Neo shares at all. Um, I don't. When I say I'm not a big fan of diversification, people who are big big proponents of the school of diversification would say you need to have 14, 20, 25 stocks in a portfolio. Whereas for me, I probably have about 7 or 8 stocks in my portfolio. Why is Nokia not a long-term play? So I actually said the opposite. I haven't really done dug too much into the research. 5G is going to be a sector of exponential growth in the future. Um, from a light level of research, I know that Nokia is well positioned to uh to grab some of that share of the 5G. Probably not. There's probably names out there that are going to get a lot more of the 5G market than Nokia, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. But that's why when you see all this like the GMC and the GME and the AMC and the NOK hype, that's why I put my money in Nokia. So I put a little bit of money in, and I was going to do research if the investment went sour, but it was really meant to be a trade. So I cashed out at 60% today and I'm done with it. I'm not going back. But as far as as far as what did somebody else say? Yeah, NOK was a short squeeze. Like the pump today was artificial. I rode the trend, that's all. Any thoughts on GM? Like, is that the ticker symbol for General Motors? I probably wouldn't invest in that. I don't want any more car plays. I don't want any more at least I don't want any more, I'm not actively looking for any more EV plays. And if that is General Motors, then my thoughts on them are that they're going to end up cannibalizing their existing customer base, whereas a newer company like Neo is expected to grow at by analysts, not by me. I expect Neo to grow like way more than 40% next year, but analysts expect Neo to grow 40% next year. A company like GM, if they're trying to convert to electric, are they going to grow at all next year? So I think about it like that, and I say, why not invest my money in Neo since they don't have to cannibalize their existing customer base? All they have to do is scale. Look at EV Go. BNGO is great, but BNGO also reminds me of the state of the market, which is that, you know, I haven't done my research on it. Genomics is a good field, and I've been saying that maybe I have to look into it. But again, genomics might be outside of my realm, my circle of confidence. So I'm not going to be an expert in it. I'm probably never going to be an expert in it. So do I want to invest in something that's outside of my circle of confidence? But it reminds me of the market because there's a lot of people, especially in my Discord, that were saying BNGO is going to be the next stock. It's the next big thing. We got to get into BNGO and didn't know anything about it. So is there a lot of money? So in my opinion, there's a lot of money in a lot of stocks right now where people don't understand the core fundamentals of their investment. ARCG, I have been checking out ARCG. I even thought about investing in it, but I like to. I'm the type of person I might invest in an index fund or an ETF, I mean, but I'm the type of person that likes to take control of my investment at the end of the day. Do I want to put it in their hands? They've done a good job managing capital. So I'm thinking about it. At one point, I owned ARK. I sold out of ARK. Um, used that to fund more of my Neo investments, and that did better. Like Drake said, it ain't nothing mutual about my funds. CCIV, I'm gonna pass on CCIV. Kathy Wood warned that a lot of I don't know if Lucid will actually, I'm not gonna say they're not, but this is just speaking in general, not speaking about Lucid at all, but a lot of Kathy Wood warned that a lot of EV companies will not reach scale. A lot of EV companies will not reach scale. So, if you can't just say like, oh, this is the next EV stock, this is the next EV stock, or this is the next SPAC merger. So I'm staying away from a lot. For me, a lot of investing, which I'm finding out is what do you stay away from? What you stay away from is just as important as what do you choose to invest in, if that makes sense. And when I say that, I don't just mean like what stocks do you stay away from. I mean like what categories do you say, okay, I have enough of this and I got to stay away now. Like that's enough. Let me go into a different sector. I have my 3D printing play. Okay. I have my electric vehicles play. Okay. What's a different market than electric vehicles? The used car market in China. That's a market that is not mature yet. So what do you stay away from? What do you get into? Telemedicine. That's a great stock. I mean a great market right now. There's actually a bunch of telemedicine companies opening up right now. I was just talking to somebody who just actually started a telemedicine company, and it's doing very well. Demand's through the roof. What do you think of Huami? Oh, I know all about them. My TV is a Xiaomi TV, so it's from China, and I like that investment as well. I mean, I like the company. Have I looked at the investment? No, but I love the company. They make like those. A lot of the stuff they make is like they have Me pads, which is kind of like the iPads. They have Me TVs. They have Me phones. Think it's pretty good. Thanks to you, I'm locked in on Usin, and I'm hyped for that long term. I'm hyped for it too, man. I really hope that something becomes of it. Lucid is just receiving funding to make a new factory in Saudi Arabia. They will start manufacturing and wants to kick off by June. I think CCIV will be a good play. CCIV could be a good play. Me personally, I haven't looked into it, and I don't. There's a lot of ways to make money in the market. If I'm already so big in Neo, there's no reason for me to go, chase another, go look for like CCIV. And I think Neo is actually going to be auto manufacturer that does more at scale than CCIV in the long term. Tesla is going to do better than them, and you know he said Aunt Kathy won't lead you wrong. She gave me more confidence in Stratasys, so I'm actually holding that still. Last year it was just Stratasys was a falling knife. I kept buying on the way down, and she gave me more confidence in it. Just got TBLT. Nice, nice. I actually, so I actually sold all my TBLT shares today. I sold all of my TBLT shares today, and then I ended up putting the my shares into Nokia, and then I got that 60% gain, and then I bought even more TBLT shares. But that was pretty risky. That was one of the riskiest moves that I've probably made in the stock market. But if anything, if worst came to worst, I would buy all my. I could afford to buy all my TBLT shares back. Would I ever do that with like Neo or anything big or anything super important to me? No. He said, I like Xiaomi minus the products. They are like Samsung before they went to get the same margins like Apple minus the child labor. Oof. If you like ARC, you need to get CRNT. She said it's the next 10x. Let me write that down. Maybe I'll look into it. I like to find under the radar stuff. I'm not throwing I'm not throwing any dice at CCIP. Thoughts on Baidu? Oh, by the way, I've been meaning I need to make some more Usin videos, but Baidu actually is backing Usin. Oh, and by the way, um Neo William Lee invested in Usin back in 2011. I'm not sure if he still holds shares in that company, but he gave Daikun his first big investment back in 2011. You guys will probably hear more about that in a future video. Oh, okay. What besides NNDM would be a play in 3D printing? Well, I'm not even in NNDM. I'm in Stratasys. Um, and I like that company. They're likely to be a manufacturer of airplane parts because they've been in the industry so long. Like Kathy Wood said, they've been battle tested, and no one's just gonna let any 3D printing that's new and fresh manufacture airplane parts because when it comes down to it, in the aerospace industry, there's lives at stake. Human life is too precious, and you can't have any types of malfunctions like that. So link the Fat Joe song. Sure. I'll throw it in the chat. I'll throw the video in the chat. I wish you guys could hear it. I was gonna show you guys in the stream. But my audio is not working. But I'll send the link. The ticker symbol for what I'm talking about is SSYS. He said that boy Obi's getting active on YouTube. No, because I wanted to play the song for you guys, but it wasn't working. But let's hear it again, guys. Let's hear it again. Are you guys listening? I gotta run that back one more time. One more time.
So your rollies in the sky, my guys will take those. Lower east side, I'm up and then wide. See me on the floor with Obi courtside. Baddies on deck, you know.
You know, Obi courtside. It was a good play on words. Courtside Obi. No, he's not at all. He is alive and still dropping nice songs. But yeah, he didn't I mentioned earlier in the stream it was just a joke. He didn't mention me in the song. He didn't mention me in the song, but you know, no. He was just live on Instagram yesterday. No, AMC is I'm not going to tell anybody to buy AMC. Actually, Neo Electric Vehicles found that out. I'm not going to tell anybody to buy AMC. You know what? We got to play that one more time because I'm really feeling it.
Sky, my guys will take those. Lower east side, I'm up and then wide. See me on the floor with Obi courtside. Baddies on deck.
There we go. If you had to choose one stock after a day like today, what would you suggest? Now you got to put that in context because, choose one stock for a long-term investment. That's what I pretty much do most of the time. You got to put that in context. Do you mean choose one stock for a long-term investment or do you mean to like just YOLO on a stock? And I don't usually ever do that, but sometimes sometimes everybody wants to gamble a little bit, but I don't really gamble. Palantir, do you think Palantir is a long-term buy? I like Splunk. I like Splunk more than Palantir. I think I was watching this video of Ark Invest of Kathy in her interview where she said that, Splunk is likely to be a bigger winner than Palantir and this was in 2019 before they went public, but she said venture capitalists were way overvaluing the stock. But even though they did buy Palantir, I kind of looked a little bit into Splunk, and I kind of like Splunk. Oh yes, that's what I wanted to talk about too. Thanks for reminding me. You talked about UWMC, United Wholesale Mortgage. Let's talk about that. So let's see where the stock is at right now. Let me actually share my screen. Let me share my screen. Actually, I don't think I can share my screen right now. Yeah, it's not letting me share my screen, but I'll just pull it up on my phone. Gonna talk about UWMC. That is a stock I talked about and I said I liked. And I just dropped a paperclip. Okay, so for the past month, UWMC is down 20%. It's currently trading at $10.26. At one point, it reached a high of $14.38, and it's called GHIB just before the merger went through. So you need to ask yourself, is this a company that you like? Did they have their best year ever in 2020? Yes or no? The answer is yes. They um said that they were on track to do $200 billion in revenue. Their earnings call is coming up. Um, so yes, the stock dropped 20%. Did that bother me at all? No, because nothing fundamentally has changed in the company at all. So there's a lot of people like, should I sell UWMC? Like I'm getting worried, like I'm scared. Fundamentals, this is my saying, fundamentals will always have their day. Fundamentals will always have their day. Their earnings is coming up. It's a long-term investment. Just because your investment, you don't see your investment. This is another reason, why I wanted to do this video where I talked about the market and like just what's going on in the market because, while you don't see your investment like 4xing or like 5xing or 10xing, like people, and that's obviously an exaggeration. People don't see their investment going up sky high and they kind of start to panic and get fearful. Just understand that if you, like Warren Buffett said, if you buy a stock, essentially you're buying a business. You don't sell a business just because it's having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month. It's a long-term investment. So, we'll see where it's at 2025. And then I also, I'm not even going to say this on YouTube because I don't think the guy wants me to say it, but I'm supporting a fellow Spartan. I that's how I kind of look at this company too. CEO played basketball at Michigan State. I live around the company. I've seen the company go from almost nothing. I've seen the company just grow over the years. So I know that this is a good company. Nothing's fundamentally changed. You go, the CEO and everybody around the company, they're very excited for this to the company to finally be taken public. So, I think that UWMC, it's fine. I could even end up buying some, if I find a little extra cash laying around right now. But I like the stock and I'm gonna stay the course with this one and we'll see what happens. Now, if something fundamentally changes within the company, then you could see me selling the stock, but don't panic, is how I feel about it. For you, if you don't like the company, if you feel like, this stock's dropping 20%, I can go make, 200% in GameStop or AMC, then that's your choice. But, I have a long-term outlook. You said Draymond Green. Are you calling me Draymond Green? He went to state too. That's probably what you're talking about. Oh no, I'm not friends with Draymond. Chubby Chubs like Draymond. Do I ever buy options? Yes. I have some options right now. Mm-mm. Okay, guys. I think I'm about to call it quits on this live stream. Creep up on 1 hour. But let me run that song one more time as an outro. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow with the next thing I decide to talk about.
In the sky, my guys will take those. Lower east side, I'm up in their pride. See me on the floor with Obi courtside. Baddies on
Dare reveal my calls? No, I'm not gonna reveal my calls because I don't want people FOMOing into. I'm not gonna reveal my calls because I don't want people FOMOing into what I've bought and like it goes wrong and people lose money. Hold up, bro. I was late. Is Nokia a good one? Um, it depends on how like I said, I was just trading the momentum today. I got out of it, but I haven't done a lot of research, but it's a 5G play. The song is Sunshine Fat Joe.
cake goes. Throw your rollies in the sky, my guys will take those. Lower east side, I'm up in their pride. See me on the floor with Obi courtside. Baddies on
Okay, he said, where can I learn about options? I'll show you the guy that I learned about options from. He's on YouTube. Let me find this guy for you. His name's Project Option on YouTube. This is the guy right here. This was a very good starting point for me. And then, I already knew about options before like tapping into the video, but in the Discord, somebody had a I think it was like a $38,000 day on IDEX, just off of some options that they bought when I was buying the stock, and that's kind of what really opened my mind to it. And he showed me a few things. He showed me about spreads and different types of ways and different types of strategies. So you just start to build off of that. You start to build off of that base. But you know a lot of people in the Discord are really smart. So if you want to learn more, the link, join the Discord, and a lot of people will be able to help you out too. Do I have a video on my worst pick? Any video of your worst picks, like a play to understand the losses? Let's see. We could talk about my losses right now. I haven't really had too many, to be honest. Um, my biggest loss right now is, so I have two losses right now. Everything else is green in my portfolio. Yes, that's Ebo. I have two losses right now. That would be UWMC. Overall, I'm down 21% there. And I don't know if you guys can see that. The lighting's kind of weird. But I'm down 21% in UWMC. Um, and I wouldn't even say that that's a lesson to be learned because, nothing fundamentally has changed in the company. So, I'm still good with that one where I hold it, and I would feel comfortable averaging down. Um, and then my next loss is going to be BBVA. I'm down 7% in BBVA, 7.44% in BBVA. At the time, I was up about, um, I think at the time I was up about like 25%. So it was just volatility. Um, he said, my problem is you're like a golden goose. I'm all green and worried about how I will react when a loss comes. I mean, I could tell you about some really, really bad losses that I took in the past. I could tell you about some really bad losses that I took in the past before. I probably hold UWMC for like maybe 3+ years, maybe longer than that. So in the past, this is why I'm telling everybody about this is why I did this live stream in the first place, right? The state of the market is really everyone just FOMOing into stocks, just looking at companies that are going up, like, oh, this company went up this year. It's got to go up this year. Like people who don't know what they're doing. And in a bear market, you're going to see who knows what they're doing and who doesn't know what they're doing. So my thing is, in the bear market, there's people who are gonna leave the stock market and end up leaving because they're frustrated because they invested into terrible companies, with business models that show no signs of viability in the future. Um, AMC, that's why I wouldn't touch AMC with a 10-foot pole. Um, yeah, the stock's going up, but does it make sense? I mean, I guess it makes sense from a short squeeze perspective, but you never know you don't want to get stuck holding that bag, trust me. Another stock, when people were buying into Hertz, like Hertz, everybody buy Hertz, 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 and Hertz went up. They just be practical. Just be practical and like really battle test your ideas. So me having this channel is like when I come out with an idea, I vocalize it and I send it out to thousands of people. So those ideas that I put out there, they're getting stress tested. And someone might hit me with something like, you shouldn't invest in this because of this. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. Maybe I need to back away from this stock. Or I might run it in like the Discord with like a lot of people. And I'm like, I didn't think about that either. But at the same time, it's that balance of, being skeptical and taking criticism, but also, if you come up with a bull case and you see it differently, then a lot of times you have to stand on your ideas. So um at the beginning of the pandemic, I was engaging in risky behavior. I never been through a market crash before in my life. So when to see the stocks just dropping, to see all my money that I've had, to see the little bit that I had at the beginning of March, just kind of wither away was pretty terrible. But I learned a lot of lessons there. I was trying to short the market. I was trying to short the market in SPXU. It's an inverse ETF that gives you 3 times leverage on the S&P 500. So while I'm shorting the market, I have a $500 day. I have, a $1,500 day. And then it starts moving in the other direction really quickly. So it starts moving in the other direction. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Businesses are shut down. No one's transacting. No one's transacting. How is the stock market going up? It's just going to come down even harder. And well and behold, we're sitting pretty close to all-time highs right now. So, unlike the other people who were, in that, and by the way, you're not supposed to hold an inverse ETF for more than a day, really, because your money's decaying every single day because it's based on options. So, I'm holding that and my money's just withering and withering away. And I'm like, you know what? I can save this money, cut losses, put the money into Neo. There's still people holding it like, nope, the market's gonna crash. The market's gonna crash. I'll go on stock twits. I'll check it out. People are like, the market's gonna crash. The market's gonna crash. Those people are probably still saying that to this day. So if you're not a short seller, don't be a short seller. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. You can make money being a bear. The thing that I had to learn about the stock market is you need to come up with good investing ideas based on good companies. The market can remain irrational longer than you can stay solvent. You're going to have to cover your puts. Your money's going to be decaying if you're in options. Uh, I mean, you're going to have to cover your short. So, the best thing that you can do, cash position. Cash is opportunity, but cash is trash in the long term. Understand inflation. Um, just have cash ready to deploy if there is a crash. And then on top of that, make sure you're in good companies. Make sure you're in good, strong companies. You know, will I be fine holding? I look at my portfolio. Am I going to be okay holding this through a crash? Am I going to be okay holding Neo through a crash? Yes. Am I going to be okay holding Stratasys through a crash? Yes, the balance sheet is very strong, even though the company is not profitable right now. Am I going to be fine holding UWMC through a crash? Yes, they just had their best year ever, and then um, on top of that, their business model is a business model that's supposed to thrive when interest rates increase again, whenever that is. So you think about stuff like that, and then you might even say like, UXIN. Am I going to be okay holding that through a crash? Well, number one, that's a penny stock. Second of all, if there is a crash, my position's pretty small because I said that's a penny stock, so I would be able to buy more and take advantage of the opportunity. Stuff like Neo makes up most of my portfolio. Now, you're gonna have to look at your portfolio and say, if there's weaker names and they're not able to survive, maybe I need to transfer the money to cash and just create more opportunity for myself. You know, so that was my biggest investment. Don't avoid pain in the market. Don't avoid pain. A lot of people try to avoid pain in the market and they try to say, you know what? What if I can actually sell out at the high before the crash and then buy back in at the low and ride that all the way back up? How many people time the market and get it right? Time in the market beats timing the market. You can't do that. It doesn't work out like that. It rarely, 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 rarely works out like that. I know some people who have done it, but am I going to take the chance with something that I spent all this time and energy building up and I want to build it up even higher? So you got to be careful with it. And that was the biggest loss that I've taken. That was SPXU, me shorting the market. That was the biggest loss that I've ever taken. Before that, my first investment in the stock market was a loss, and that taught me a lot just at the beginning. It was what is this company called? I can't even remember, but it was a penny stock, and I was never in stocks at all. My friend had just told me. I told him I always wanted to do real estate, and he's like, dude, if you want to get that down payment to do real estate, you need to use the stock market so that you can save up money and go even faster. So, me, I didn't do my own research at all. He's talking about this company. He's like, dude, look at how he's showing me on his phone. Look how much money I made. Look how much money I made. And I'm literally like, you know what? If he's making money like that and he's giving me like a layup, if he's giving me a layup, then I'm literally going to take it and I'm going to invest right there. So, he told me about this company. I'm trying to remember the name. It's delisted now. It's trading on the OTC. It was literally like 20 cents. I bought in. It ended up going to like 80 cents in a few days. I made a lot of money really fast, and that's my first investment. And that's the worst thing that you can do to somebody who's new in the stock market is have them make a lot of money really fast, because then they think that they're Einstein or Warren Buffett, or it's just somebody who's really seasoned and they know what they're doing. So he's like, and then I still didn't do my research. I didn't take profits. So listen to him. He says it's going to go up for a few more days. It's going to go up for a few more days. Like, you might be able to make this amount off it. I would just leave it. Turns around really quickly, starts going down. And I end up selling out of it for like 10 cents. So I took a 50% loss on my money. And, I went back at the beginning of this year to go look at it. I'm like, where is this thing gone? And it's not on the NASDAQ anymore. It's on the OTC market. So you have to really, come up with your own investments. I never rely on anybody else for a stock pick. I never rely on anybody else for a handout. Like, people will tell me, someone asked me like, "Yo, who do you get like your insight from, or what? How do you come up with stuff?" And I'm like, "Dude, I literally take notes on everything all day. Like, I spend so much. I go through notebooks, man. I go through so many notebooks just researching. I go through notebooks on the daily, just researching companies. So you got to be willing to put in the work. And then before I started trading, like, I read books. Like, you would rather learn how to fish than have somebody feed you. And if you're practical in the stock market and you set your principles and you very rarely and ideally never break those, then I think it'll probably work out for you. So that's my advice on that. And you're right, I do need to show more losses as a coaching moment, but really I haven't had that many losses. I've only had, like I said, and it's not a loss until you sell either. So I've only had UWMC, haven't sold that, that's not a loss. Only had BBVA, that's not a loss. I mean, there is like another stock that I'm in, but I wouldn't even talk about that on this channel because I wouldn't want to encourage anyone to invest in it because it's very risky. So that's that. But if you guys, I do appreciate everyone coming out today and checking out this live stream. What books do I recommend? Um, so for books, this book changed my life. I'll show you guys. There's a lot of books that I read, but this is the book that really changed my life and got me interested into investing. It's called Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graciosi. He was known as the king of real estate. So I read this book, and basically he said that everyone needs a vehicle to be free. And that's kind of what stuck with me. That vehicle could be your business. That vehicle, for a lot of people reading this, it could be real estate. For me, it seems like it's ended up being stocks right now. I'm doing pretty good in the stock market. Um, so I would recommend this book. It's just a lot. This is the book that changed my life. I remember exactly when I read it. I read it in 2019, and I just figured I have to work and I have to figure out something else outside of work. And this was just like the stepping stone, the first part for me. And I'm still building and I'm still getting there. I'm still working on it every day. Another book is Principles by Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio, set your principle. So what my takeaway from this book is just set your principles in life. Set your principles with, how you want to be as a person. Like, hey, I expect this person, I'm expected to show up on time. I'm going to show up on time. That's a principle for me. Be punctual. But you set those type of principles in your life, but then aside from that, I also set investing principles. So I try to buy into, I don't try to buy into stuff that doesn't match with my investing principles as a long-term investment. So, just reading this book, it'll help you out for sure. This was definitely a good read for me. I'm kind of dumbing it down. I'm not doing it justice, but it was a good book for me, and I might read it again. It's a big book. It took a while to read. But Ray Dalio, smart guy, legendary investor. Okay, guys. I think I'm gonna call it quits for today. You said NNDM. I haven't checked out that 3D printing stock. I've been told to check it out. It's hard to pick who's going to be the winner in the 3D printing space. I picked Stratasys because I see use application for them in aerospace, and I invested in them because they were the biggest they were one of the oldest and one of the biggest names. So a lot of the newer players or younger players would have to consolidate, was my thesis. And Kathy Wood said that aerospace, they're likely to be the ones to start 3D printing for planes and stuff. So that's what I picked. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Catch you guys in the next one. DDD2, that's pretty old. That's a pretty old name.